Welcome, welcome, guys. Hope everybody's well. We are here in Dubai and obviously ready to go. So, Alex is a bit keen, but yeah, I'm going to go through everything. So, do not worry. Obviously, write your questions in. That's no problem at all. Right, let's go through yesterday. FOMC, so Kevin Warsh's very first FOMC. Quite an interesting one. There's a few things. Obviously, he's a lot more hawkish, so he's a lot more aggressive, direct. One of Jerome Powell's, famous quotes was, and this is something to listen to because it's going to be something going forward. He would predict what he thought would happen depending on the data. All right, so he would predict what he would think would happen. We're looking to lower interest rates, but it's going to depend on the data. All right, or we're looking to raise interest rates, but it's going to depend. Kevin Walsh scrapped that whole plan. He even, hit hard at the old guys in charge, and he turned around and said, "I'm making absolutely no predictions on what's gonna happen. There's going to be no rush for us to reduce interest rates and look at the data as and when it comes out." That's a complete change of tone. All right, that's an aggressive tone. And I think that's one that's gonna, strengthen the dollar because at the end of the day, that is his job. So we're obviously going to be, looking at that moving forward. Some traders are, saying that Jerome Powell is a little bit predictable. Kevin Walsh has just thrown that out the window completely. Hence why the dollar smashed up and obviously hit this 100, which is what we weren't expecting. But obviously, oh, the other key point he come out and said was that he wants inflation down to 2%. So that's obviously, pretty optimistic too. Everything was aggressive, full aggression, mode. And yeah, so I'm expecting dollar like what we always do, first port of call every morning, check out the dollar index and have a look, split it up every 500 and have a look at your probability factor, all right, of what's going on. Is it a higher probability that we're going to come up and tap this 100? We've been there before. All right, we obviously hit there late last night. Or is it a higher probability we're going to come down, sorry, 100, 500, or is it a higher probability that we're going to come down and hit this 100 area? All right, so these are all things that we've got to take into consideration. Um, Now, I'm predicting that it's a higher probability that we're going to come up and tap this area here before we kind of die down. That there's, optimism in the air. There's hype. So let's have a look at obviously what we've got going on today. We've obviously got, unemployment rate reduced for the pound. Not bad. Claimant count coming higher than expected. We then got an interest rate decision, so we will be out of GBP USD before 12. And then we've got some jobless claims, basically employment data for the US, So looking to obviously be out of our trades before 12, but I do, see the dollar breaching this area here. Yields down today. If we look at this on a 2 hour, it's a bit cleaner. All of this hype here. Then them being down here should limit gold's kind of, downward movement here. So I might take this one off the table and look to trade it a bit later on. However, I would like it to come up early. If we can hit this in the next like hour, then I'll probably be, looking to kind of capitalize, on this here. So yeah, that's obviously what I am, looking at here. Looking into, stock market, obviously hype, so the stock market's, recovering. Took a bit of a dive yesterday, but obviously, starting to recover, it's up today, so there's a lot of risk appetite out there. USDJPY stayed away from because we're breaching these highs. I don't like this area. I've mentioned it lots of times. I don't really like this area here above 60. You can see here the downward spikes are a lot more prolific than the upward spikes. There's more like sharp, harsh downward moves here. So I'm gonna wait and see what happens here. Oil on the other point, carrying on trading to the downside here. We're getting, like Trump said, I'm not sure how many of you watched his interview yesterday with the Indian Prime Minister, President. He wants oil, and he thinks that oil will be back at a reasonable price, soon. So obviously that's going to increase trade. So looking at the other pair that we didn't choose, again, I've kind of stayed away from Aussie. I just don't like it. Um, I don't like how it's trading at the moment. It's not very clean. You can see these clean moves here. Like we want that to kind of happen. Everything's a little bit, messy here. So let's wait and see. GBP USD, right? We're obviously on this one here. Had a big dive off yesterday. Caught this perfectly this morning. If we look at it on a 50-minute, price popped up, took out these highs, and now it's continuing to the downside. Let's just check my chart. Yep, really, really happy. Just above 10k here, and then obviously euro too. So I might pull stops to break even. I'm gonna, but we're really early. So I'd like to see this get tested here. But obviously dollar, like I'd said, want this broken so we can continue to the upside here. Um, and then obviously gold, yeah, we're obviously going to have to wait and see what happens here. But obviously, we will want to tread a bit carefully, but we want to also recognize, you don't need to understand macros to obviously recognize the hype. The dollar has got a lot of hype round it. So yeah, that's, wait and see what happens. I think that it was quite easy to to kind of pick direction this morning. Right, let's go through some of the questions. Alex, yields are going down to pre-FOMC meeting decision. Why is dollar so much stronger? It's just hype. All right, it's just overall hype. Yields obviously have been hit hard. But obviously, they're kind of trading where we're expecting. They're struggling to break this area here, struggling to break above. So we're kind of trading within this, range here. So they're not going to pump, all right, because they were only, flying because of the price of oil. Naturally, oil is, digressing, and obviously, yields are kind of, following on from that. So yeah. Another one from Alex. NZD was not hit as hard as euro or pound. I saw when I hopped through the pairs this morning. Do you think the Iran peace deal can break dollar direction when it's signed? I think the expectations are already there. So I think dollar here, all right. So dollar right now isn't trading high because of fear, scarcity, oil trading too high. It's trading this high because of general strength and hype. All right. So we've gone from bad data driving it to good data driving it. All right, and good data is a lot easier to understand and obviously predict than bad data is. So that's why my kind of expectation is, NZD kind of follows Aussie. You can see here they move pretty much the same. So but dollar is up against everything. The dollar is, yeah, it is basically recovering, nicely. I'm really, really happy with where we're at right now. I think if this ticks down, probably to about TP1 area, then yeah, I'll be looking to, come out a bit earlier, I think, this morning, just because this is obviously, overall height, but then we do have, quite a lot of employment data coming out a bit later on. So, yeah, let's wait and see. Does anyone have any more questions? Any more for any more? I haven't had any breakfast yet, so I quite fancy going to have some breakfast. So any more for any more? Happy to answer anything. If not, I'll hold it off here. I would keep you guys updated. Remember, really, really happy here. You can see here, and I'll just go through this before we end it. So, London, all right, we've obviously got Asian highs here, all right. There's a strategy which I posted in the group a few weekends ago called Tokyo Drift, and this is exactly what we're talking about here. Comes up, breaks Asian high, drives all these buyers in, but all it's doing here, if you look at the bigger picture, is just collecting more orders. And then we have a straight, flat, return out. All right. So London is completely different to US. All right. If US was approaching Asian high, we'd probably think that it's going to respect it. Asian high being approached London open, there's a high probability that this happens. So yeah. But yeah, right. I'm gonna end it here. Um, Hope everyone has a great day today. It's obviously early. It's 8 where you are. It's quarter past 11 here. So I'm gonna get some breakfast and obviously try and stay live in all this heat. But yeah, drop me a message any time about anything. I'm obviously happy to help you guys. You guys obviously know what my at is. So yeah, drop me a message anytime. I'm here to help. But no, really, really happy with the apartment here. It's a great location. We're right in the middle of the downtown. So yeah, it should be good. So no, have a great day, everyone. And yeah, let's smash it. Let's smash it.